What is good, everyone? Hopefully you're doing well. Today's video is going to be pretty interesting, somewhat controversial. That's okay. That's what we do here. Grab yourself something to snack on, maybe something to drink. Today I'm drinking Minute Maid Aqueous Fresca Strawberry. Very delicious. Today's topic is, after the rapture happens, will there be marriage in the new heaven and on the new earth? Meaning, will you still be married to your spouse that you currently are now in the afterlife? Or if you weren't married and you didn't have that opportunity, but that was your heart's desire, will that still be an opportunity in the life to come? I got my notes here like usual. Let's talk about it. In Matthew 22, we see Jesus talking to a group of non-believer Sadducees. Now, Sadducees is just another word for like Pharisees. These people were very heavily involved with the law. They did not believe in a resurrection. They did not believe in an afterlife. And they were trying to pin Jesus in a corner with this question. Jesus knew exactly what they were trying to do. The group of Sadducees who didn't believe mocked the resurrection and afterlife, and were trying to trap Jesus with the Jewish and Levitical law of that time, which stated a woman should marry every male sibling once her husband dies in order to keep the lineage, and which husband would she then be married to in heaven once her current earthly husband dies. Jesus knew what they were trying to do. He replied, "Do you not know the scriptures? They will neither marry or be given in marriage in the resurrection, but will be like the angels." Now notice here, he does not say, not once, that we wouldn't be married on the new earth. He was saying no marriage was given, arranged by the law during the resurrection. We will be like the angels. In other words, we will live immortal, uncorruptible bodies, perfect bodies forever. We see in Genesis 6 that angels still are sexual beings, and they have both male and female anatomies. And this is as a spirit, not when we get our glorified physical bodies. I firmly believe God's love will be enough to satisfy every single desire. However, if we look back to Adam and Eve, we have a promise that God made with Adam, and he will keep that promise with you and I, with us. Adam and Eve were already like the angels prior to the fall. Adam talked and walked in the very presence of God and was made perfect already. Adam and Eve were meant to live together for each other for all eternity. Prior to sin, they experienced life exactly how we will in heaven and on the new earth. Yet Adam, after naming and pairing each animal 2 by 2 in pairs, he was lonely. If it weren't for only procreation, and that was the only reason why God created Eve for, was to subdue the earth, during this time, God would have made Adam and Eve at the exact same time, but he didn't. It was only after the fall were they told to go forth and multiply and subdue the earth, and it was only after God said it isn't good for man to be alone. So God made him a companion, a helper, Eve. Adam and Eve were not married by the legal sense that we know of today, but they had the exact same bond and love and intimacy and companionship we have now, but far, far greater. I firmly believe that according to Scripture, we will not only be reunited with our spouse in heaven and on the new earth, but have that exact same emotional, spiritual, and yes, physical companionship with our new glorified physical bodies that Adam and Eve had prior to sin and the fall on the new earth, just without the rings, the law, the government involved that we now call marriage. But we see children even in heaven. That's right, children are in heaven. In Isaiah 11, 6-7. So we know there will be nuclear families on the new earth. Many, many nuclear families on the new earth. Because we know sex outside of marriage is sinful, and there will be no sin on the new earth or in the new Jerusalem. In our glorified bodies, it will be impossible to sin. So marriage must still be a bond God created for us to experience. It's a covenant between one man, one woman before God. This isn't just an earthly thing. This is an eternal thing. And no, I'm not a Mormon, okay? I don't subscribe. I think that's false, a false gospel, a false Jesus. I'm just bringing some questions that many, many have that have been married or have lost a spouse. We are sexual created beings. God created us to be sexual. And it wasn't just for procreation. Sex within marriage is a gift. It is a gift from God, not for only to reproduce. Yet we still see children in heaven, meaning there will be nuclear families on the new earth. So don't listen to this out of context marriage view about Matthew 22. Most churches today, most pastors today will jump to Jesus said no marriage, so that's it. No marriage. With absolutely no study. But that's not what Jesus was implying when he was speaking to these unbelieving Sadducees. Seek the Lord, and if your heart's desire is to have a companion and a helper, he will not do away with what is good. Matthew 18:18 says, what is bound on earth shall be bound in heaven. Proverbs 18:22 says, he who finds a wife finds favor with the Lord. You see, God's original design was marriage. And we will be restored to that original design of one man and one woman, as in the garden. Everything, and I mean everything, including marriage, will be restored. And if you've never had a wife or a husband in this life, and that was your heart's desire, don't be discouraged, because I firmly believe God will give you the desire of your heart, Psalm 37:4, here or on the other side. I want to make it crystal clear that if you are in an abusive, especially physically, an abusive of any type of abusive marriage, that will not continue in heaven. That will cease to exist in heaven and on the new earth, because sin is not going to be allowed to dwell in the afterlife. It does get tricky for those who remarry and after the first spouse passes away, but I think you can only love one person the most. You know this, and God knows this. So whoever you loved the most here on earth, if you had a husband that passed away and years later you remarried, that's not sinful. That's not sin. It's only sin when you remarry if your spouse is still alive. But if you remarry after your spouse dies, who will you be married to in heaven? If that's your heart's desire to be married, well, I believe that it'll be the one person you love the most. If you have lost a spouse, be encouraged. You will be with them again. You will be reunited with them again. You will see them again. You will be with them again for all of eternity. However that relationship looks like together will far surpass in every way any relationship we've ever had here. Soulmates are real. God knows it because he created it. I want to encourage you today that as we read passages like Matthew 22 that might seem pretty obvious where Jesus is saying they will not marry nor be given in marriage during the resurrection. That's not showing the overall total picture, because God created marriage. It was his original design as we look back in Genesis. And I firmly believe he is going to restore all things, including marriage, to the original design, the way things were meant to be, especially on the new earth. So if you've lost a loved one, if you've lost a spouse, be encouraged. You will be with them again for all of eternity, however that looks. And that love, that bond, physically, emotionally, spiritually, will be far, far greater than what it is right now. And we can hold on to that promise that he made to Adam as we look to the future after the coming rapture that can happen at any moment. And I do believe we are the generation to witness the rapture of the church and the second coming of Jesus Christ. I appreciate you. I love you. I'm thankful that you're here. Remember, it's not about perfection. It's about progression. It's not about where we have been, but where we're going. Take care. God bless. And I'll see you on the next video. Cheers.